Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Seporia D, and in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about this thing that I have been seeing all over YouTube called quiet quitting or quitting your job in silence. And I can honestly say that I have been quiet quitting my job or my jobs for quite some time now, and honestly did not know that I was quiet quitting. So just to give you guys a little bit of just background on me and the reason why I think that I have been quiet quitting for quite some time now is that I can honestly say for the longest time, I've always been the type of employee that would go above and beyond for my employer. I was always the one coming in extra early, staying late, working those overtime hours, volunteering to work on holidays. And I did that for quite some time. I think the thing that made me start like backing off of working that way is when I started to have my children. So I do have two kids. I have a boy and a girl. Zoe, she's my daughter. She's my oldest. When I had Zoe and I went back into the workplace or the workspace, I kind of started to definitely like cut back on the way that I used to work. I remember my managers would always ask me, hey, do you want some overtime hours or do you want to come in a little early? And my response was just no, no. And it wasn't that I was being lazy. It wasn't that I was being resentful. It's just that, to be honest, y'all, like my body just would not allow me like to work that way. Like I just physically could not work that way. I mentally could not work that way. Like I was way too tired, way too exhausted to like put any more energy into working extra on my job. And so fast forward a couple of years earlier, fast forward a couple of years after that, I had my son. And so I definitely just had to cut, like the way that I used to work, like I definitely had to just change everything about how I used to work. Like I had to cut that out. Like I completely just had to let it go. Like I stopped working overtime hours. I stopped working late. Like I would only do the bare minimum at work, and I just could not put the energy to do anything else. What I meant by that is, like, let's say for instance, I only had to make so many calls for the day, or only had to send out like so many emails for the day, or only had to do like reach a certain goal for the day or the week or the month. Like I would only do like the complete bare minimum that was required of me, and I physically just could not do anymore. It kind of felt like when I was at work and I would try to put more into it, like I just could not find the motivation to work like I used to work prior to me having kids. Like I don't know why, but it definitely, when I had kids, I had a mindset shift. It's like you can either do really well in one thing, but then you're gonna lack in another thing. So for me lacking as a mother, like I knew I could not do that. And so it was just easy for me to say, you know what? I can be a really, really good mom, but then that means that I have to take a backseat to being a good employer or a good employee. And so naturally, I just stopped doing things the way that I used to do them. I mean, another reason why I say that I've been quiet quitting my job for a long time is because I used to hate calling in. Like calling in for me would be like the worst thing in the world. I remember I was on a job for over 13 years, and during those 13 years, I probably had called in maybe less than 10 times. And so now, I mean, if I physically don't feel good, I'll call in. If I mentally just don't feel good, I will call in. If my kids are sick, you know, of course, you know, I'm going to call in. And I'm going to be honest, like, I don't feel bad about calling in. Like, I don't feel bad about it. A little bit, I kind of feel like, you know, it kind of sucks for my coworkers, but I know that, I mean, of course they can easily do the job without me being there, but I don't feel bad about calling in anymore. And another reason why I say I've been quiet quitting, or maybe more so quiet quitting now more than ever, is that I was looking at my paychecks one day and I noticed that it didn't matter how many hours I worked more or how many hours I worked less, my pay stayed the exact same. So for instance, if I worked just like a few hours more, I had a few hours more of overtime, my pay didn't change. Or if I was lacking those 80 hours and let's say I only had like 77 hours, my pay didn't change. And so I guess my thought process is like, why would I be working harder? Why would I be putting more efforts into my job? I mean, I'm still going to get paid the same. Now, that's not to say that I am a lazy employee. I'm definitely not lazy. I come into work early. You know, I do all the tasks that are asked of me. You know, I have a positive attitude when I'm at work. I'm not grumpy. I don't have a bad attitude. You know, there's always going to be a smile on my face. And I'm definitely the kind of person that I believe that when I'm at work, I'm at work. So any outside issues, they stay outside. And then when I come home, I'm at home. So any work issues, stay at work. And that's another thing that I used to do in the past, is that I would carry all my work problems from work into my home. Like there would be times where I would take calls, because I was like an assistant manager at one of my previous jobs. And so I was always on call. And so on my days off, I was taking calls. You know, after work, I was taking calls. I remember when I would be at home and they're like, hey, you know, we need help doing something. Like I was the one grabbing my keys and running out the door and going to the branch and like, okay, what do you guys need? What can I help you with? And so that definitely takes like a mental toll on you. It takes a physical toll on you. It takes a mental toll on like your health. It's like your mental health and things like that. And so I definitely think that I have been quiet quitting for a long time. Now that I am aware that quiet quitting is a thing, I'm gonna still be quiet quitting or silence quitting at my job. I mean, my goal is to one day be able to, you know, save up X amount of dollars so that I could pour more into like my businesses and hopefully, you know, have those bring in like a full-time income for me, so I can definitely, you know, stay home and have that extra time with my children, have that extra time with my family, you know, just be able to do the things that I'm not really able to do because, you know, I'm at work. And so, yeah, I thought it would just be interesting to make a video on quiet quitting or silence quitting. If you guys are thinking about quiet quitting, or if you guys have been silence quitting your job, definitely leave me something down in the comments letting me know that this is something, y'all, my finger still looks a hot mess. Definitely let me know down in the comments below, how have you been quiet quitting, or how you plan on quiet quitting. If you guys like the video, please give the video a big thumbs up. If you guys have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. I try to do videos every week, and I know this video is so different than my other videos on this channel, but I definitely wanted to take like a little bit of a dive into this whole quiet quitting or silence quitting, because like I said, I've been seeing this a bunch here on YouTube, and your girl has been quiet quitting her job or silence quitting her job for quite a long time now. So yes, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.